Those north winds, brr. And hey, things can get frosty when you gather with the family for Christmas. Connection coach Jonathan Sprinkles is here to help you get through the holidays, though. Christmas is Wednesday, which means a lot of family time. A lot of people hitting the road today, and so they're going to be with the family all week, most of the week. Some people have questions. Good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning, Sherry, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Some people have questions about how to get along when they're spending all that time with family. Katrina has a good question that a lot of folks have faced.
How do you make a schedule when there's mom and dad are not together, so there's, separate families there, and you have your parents, your family, and they rotate and move around to different houses, so how are you fair?
I have faced that myself when I used to live out of town. My folks live here, my in-laws lived here, and it's like a tug of war a little bit sometimes.
Well, Katrina, I want to say that you have the right example of what it needs to look like. You're on the right track. The two words that you used are schedule and fair. See, what we have to do is understand that every great act of leadership begins with the word why. So why are we celebrating Christmas, and what is Christmas to us? Is it about celebrating our religion? Is it about giving gifts? Is it about family? Is it all the above? None of the above. When you understand your why, then you can come together around your why. So that way you can think outside of that little Christmas box and do things a little differently. Maybe it's about Christmas Day. Maybe sometimes you have to schedule it so that it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that way you have fairness for everybody. You create your own why, and then you center around that why and connect around that why.
All right. Thank you. Good answer. Good question, Katrina. Becky has a question a lot of people would like an answer to.
Okay.
How do I avoid talking politics with the in-laws?
Backstory, Becky told me it can be a little tricky with any conversation with the in-laws, but especially politics.
Well, what you need to do is remember that you have to take your power back. Conversation takes two. So don't think that just because they talk about it, that you also have to talk about it. But just so you can see exactly what I'm referring to, we have a little situation here, some situation cards, Sherry, and I have 3 different techniques that you can use. One of them is deflection, the second is reflection, and then the third is diversion. So I'm going to ask you several questions that are very challenging and a little bit uncomfortable, and then I have an answer for you. So this would be an example of deflection when you move it off of you. Sherry, so is the Duck Dynasty guy right in his opinions about gays and black people?
Well, how about those Texans?
Read the card.
Oh, deflection, it says. Deflection.
Yes, no, read the card. I have an answer for you.
It's on the back. Oh, I'm not the expert. My opinions don't mean much.
See, yeah, you deflect. Okay, next question. This would be an example of reflection. That's all right. This is why it's live television. Reflection. So, Sherry, who's responsible for all those lies in Washington?
Well, that is a great question, Jonathan, and I am still forming my opinion. What do you think?
See, so now it reflects back to me. Now you're off the hook for the answer. Now, the third one, we're getting it down. The third one is diversion. Here we go. This is a real tough question. So, Sherry, you're on the news. You seem famous. How much money do you make?
I really have to go to the bathroom. The eggnog is kicking in. That's hilarious.
So remember, you're never stuck. You can always use those 3 techniques.
I love it. Okay, last one real quick. This is not about family Christmas. Beth has a question about men.
Oh, boy.
She asks, why do some guys father a baby, then act as though they can't stand the mother, leave that baby mama, and then go take care of another woman and another man's baby? So they get with a new woman. That new woman has a baby that's not the guy's, and he takes care of that baby, but not his own.
Now, how did this come up around Christmas? What does this have to do with Santa and gifts? Well, listen, honestly, there's more to this situation than meets the eye, and without being able to be apprised to everything, it would be impossible for me to say what was in that man's head. But what you may want to consider is that there's a reason for everything that everybody does, and it may not be that he doesn't care for the baby or that he's moving away from responsibility. It might be that your relationship with him has been a challenge, and the relationship with the other woman's child and the other woman is one that he agrees with a little bit more. It's a little bit easier for him. So you have to always check yourself and everything.
So the sad fact is that his own child is kind of collateral damage in the whole thing.
Unfortunately,
Yikes.
It happens all the time.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan, for giving us the straight, tough answers. I am going to keep these little note cards. I may need them. Who knows? Thank you so much, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
It is 8:22 coming up.